Spotlight, 8 класс, страница 74, 5A, Reading and Vocabulary. Reading 1. Look at the picture and listen to the sounds. Imagine the scene. Where are you? What is happening? What are people doing? How do you feel? 2. The 4 extracts are from the reports of 4 people who experienced a tsunami. Read the first sentence from each extract. Which person was a member of a rescue team, a journalist, a holiday maker, a doctor? Listen, read, and check. Tsunami disaster. A ship carrying 350 tons of rice, water, tinned fish, and other supplies arrived at Nias, Indonesia today, and we have already started distributing food to the people. Unfortunately, cracked roads and collapsed bridges are making it very difficult. In the meantime, we keep searching for more survivors. In the early hours of Thursday, we managed to find a 13-year-old girl who was still alive. She had been buried underneath a 5-story building for 52 hours. Jason. I was lying on the beach sunbathing when I suddenly noticed huge waves. Before I knew it, the water had reached me. I started to run, but I couldn't because the water was up to my knees. People around me were screaming. A few seconds later, I was under the water. Pieces of wood were hitting me. Luckily, a man who was on a palm tree pulled me out of the water onto the tree. After a few hours, we were rescued by some local men and taken to hospital. Bill. C. At the hotel, my colleagues and I were helping injured people. We gave them emergency first aid before they were taken to hospital. Some of the injuries we had to treat were quite horrific. The streets outside were littered with fallen palm trees and huge pieces of wood and metal. D. An earthquake that occurred at 7:59 local time under the Indian Ocean generated the biggest tsunami the world has seen in the last 40 years. The massive waves have killed over 10,000 people in southern Asia. Thousands have lost their homes. This must be one of the worst natural disasters in recent history. Alex. Страница 75. 3. Answer the following questions. Which parts of the text helped you decide? Which person or people suffered injuries, helped other people, felt calm at first, gives details about the time and place of the disaster, was helped by someone else, achieved something unexpected. Form. A. Find all passive verbs forms in the text. Change the sentences to the active voice. Explain the words and phrases in bold. Check in the word list. 5. Work in groups of 5. Interview the people who wrote text A to D on page 74. Vocabulary, natural disasters. 6. Read the dictionary entries. What are these disasters called in your language? What causes each one? Which of them can you see in the picture A to D? Drought, a period of time with no rain. Flood, large amount of water that covers an area which is usually dry. Tornado, a violent windstorm which consists of a tall column of air spinning around very fast. Tsunami, a huge wave which crashes onto land and is caused by an earthquake. Earthquake, a shaking of the ground. Cyclone, a violent tropical storm in which the air goes round and round. Avalanche, a large mass of snow falling down the side of a mountain. Hurricane, an extremely violent wind or storm. 7. Check the verbs in the word list. Use them in their correct form to complete the gaps. Fear, cover, leave, drown, bury, crack, collapse, lose. Thousands of people were homeless. Hundreds of sheep when the river overflowed, and many are the animals, their habitats. Many roads and a 5-story apartment building, like a house of cards. The people in the building are to be dead. Several skiers were alive and the road was completely with snow. Which natural disaster from exercise 6 is each sentence talking about? Speaking 8. Think. Which of the disasters below are common in your country? Which seems the most serious to you? Why? 9. Read the text again. Work in pairs. Imagine you're a survivor of the tsunami disaster. Act out an interview with a journalist about your experience. How did you feel?